Let spooky season begin. Hello everyone and welcome to another DalianReads reviews where I'll be discussing with you a new book. Alright, so the book of the week was My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite, and it is a mystery slash YA slash murder and crime. It was like all over the place. Okay, so this book basically talks about two sisters. They're from Nigeria, and the eldest one is called Kurdi, and the younger one is Ayula. Ayula basically is becoming a serial killer with her third murder happening in this book, which like it opened the book basically, and we see how the sisterly bond was taken too far in this book, because Ayula keeps murdering her boyfriends and then Kurdi comes and cleans up after her. But there is a sinister past behind the family. These two sisters come from a broken home of abuse, and it resulted in them becoming this duo where one kills and the other cleans after her. So let's discuss the writing style in this book real quick as it ended, really, because it was like such a short read. It was like 200 and plus pages only. The writing style was very underwhelming. I don't like it when chapters end in like 1 or 2 pages and they're like really short and pro-like. They're like prose, you know, and it's like I'm not sure, it's like a hit or miss for me. And in this book, unfortunately, it was a miss. I did not like the writing style. I just thought that it was too quick, too rushed, and I felt like it could have been something more had the writer took her time with writing this book, because I felt like the plot as well, I will discuss it later, but yeah, it also needed much more depth or much more work. So yeah, the writing wasn't bad per se, I just expected more, since it was like a mystery slash murder type of book, and it was such a fun read to go through, but writing wise I was not sure, honestly, and I'm very sorry. Okay, so plot wise, I thought that the book was very quick, it was very fresh. It talked about sisterhood and how far it could go. Like, the bond was so strong that they would cover for each other when it comes to murder, so that was like something to behold in this book. The sisters had a very complex relationship, which is again why I am so surprised that the author decided to just like breeze through everything that went down in this book, because I think that it had so much more potential had she had taken her time developing the plot and developing the characters, because I honestly think that there is so much more that she could have done with these crazy and fun and just like I just think that it had so much more potential. So I said that it talked about murder and the sisterhood, but it also talked about relationships and trauma, and what trauma in your childhood could do to you in your adulthood, because the sisters went through hell because of their father. He was very abusive, he was very manipulative, and it was just horrible. The abuse extended to physical abuse. It wasn't only verbal. There was also infidelity involved in the marriage, and yeah, the girls went through it. No wonder that their personalities developed into what they were as adults. There was also the issue of comparing the sisters in this book, because Ayula was the younger sister and Kurdi was the older one, so naturally the older sister should take care of the younger sister, and we have this in our society as well. I think it's like a global thing for the eldest sister to take care of the younger sister, which is what we see unfold in this book. But it was also very toxic because Ayula was this precious child who could do no wrong. She was also the prettier sibling. Corday was not what people would define as beautiful, I guess, because that was exactly what was described in the book. She was not as beautiful. She was also light-skinned, which also I kind of think discusses the issue with colorism between black people. Ayula got all the guys while Corday was more shy and she was more reserved to herself. Basically, she was an introvert, and Ayula was the extrovert that everyone loved and adored. Here's where I also think that this book discussed pretty privilege, and I think I talk about pretty privilege a lot. It is a thing, and I'm glad that the author talked about it in this book, because yes, it exists. Unfortunately, it does. So yeah, as you can see, the book plot discussed a lot of issues, and I just think that it was a shame that it was only like 200 and plus pages only. I think that this book deserved at least 400 plus pages for it to be like more in depth, and it could like discuss the issues more. But I guess that was the author's decision to make it as quick and fun and like a breeze of a read. I honestly felt disappointed. I know a lot of people loved this book and they talked and raved a lot about it, but I feel disappointed. I'm sorry. I think that I just expected so much from the plot that when it hit me, I was like, oh, is that it? What? Okay, so let's talk characters. This book did not contain a lot of characters because it basically revolved around Ayula and Corday, the sisters. So the side characters were basically just like the background, doing their jobs as fillers. I think I discussed the characters when I was talking about the plot, but we know what Ayula and Corday are like. Let's talk about the side characters. So the first side character I want to talk about is Tade. Now, Tade was the handsome doctor that worked at the hospital where Corday worked as a nurse. He was basically her secret love. Like, she had a crush on him and she just liked him from afar, and she never had the courage to walk up to him and be like,
hey, I like you, I'm in love with you, and you're just like the biggest sunshine I have ever seen in my life, and I want you to be my husband.
So yeah, he was a very important part in this book because a lot of entanglements happened between him and Corday and her sister Ayula. But he was like also the one who got the hit at the very end, and I just felt so sorry for him. He was this harmless doctor just doing his job and just got tangled up in this craziness. And yeah, I just felt sorry for him. The second character that I want to talk about is their mother. Although she didn't have like a big part in the book, but she just spoiled Ayula so much, and I just hated how I could see how she preferred Ayula over Corday, because she would be like, oh, when are you gonna get married? Oh, when are you gonna get a boyfriend? Oh, when you, like, she just celebrated Ayula so much, and like she forgot that she had an older daughter who deserves this attention as well. But I think that is like also a universal problem with older and younger siblings. It's just horrible. And then we have the coma patient. His name was Muhtar, and he basically was expected to never wake up. Therefore, Corday would just sit with him all the time and tell him their deepest, darkest secrets. She basically told him about the murders, she told him about her sister, she told him about everything. So imagine the risk she took, and then like for it to like turn against her because Muhtar actually wakes up from the coma, and that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, he was an important character in this book, and I actually liked him. I think Muhtar was probably my favorite character in this book. He just like appeared so little and at some parts, but still I think he was like my favorite character in this book. Yeah. Alright, so all in all, the book was okay. It was a fun roller coaster to go through. Did it deserve the hype it got? To me, I just think that it was very underwhelming. Maybe because I expected so much from the book itself. It was a fun breeze of a read. A quick one, like if you want something exciting and fun and crazy, because all of the characters in this book are crazy. Yeah, you should definitely pick this up. As for me, I'm surprised that it was like nominated for Women's Prize for Fiction 2019. I honestly don't understand why, but I guess people's tastes differ. And as for me, this book was not it. It was okay, but it was not great. So yeah, I guess that is it for today's review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stick around for next week's review. And until next time, see ya and bye.